With Marvel announcing the return of Robert Downey Jr., now playing one of the publisher's greatest villains, many people on the internet are wondering how they will unite the two. Of course, with the excuse of the multiverse, everything can be explained by the simple fact that it's an alternate variant of the hero. But which variant exactly would he be? This is what Marvel fans have been debating since the announcement, and many options have been raised. Among them, variant 42777, one of my favorites. In this universe, Tony Stark is exactly what we know of him, a genius of the highest level, and primarily a philanthropist. And the only thing that made him more famous than his inventions was how the character was always willing to help those in need. But this was just for appearances. Stark had the ambition to dominate the world, and used his image as a good person to hide in plain sight among the people. After all, who would suspect that the hero who donates to charity and war victims is actually a villain? It's the perfect disguise, far beyond any mask. His cruelty and ambitions began early, when at 14 he ended his own father's life. In his adulthood, after inheriting his father's fortune, Tony created the Iron Man armor, and became more actively involved in superhuman battles. Despite some differences in the story, much of this universe mirrors the ones we know, especially the fierce rivalry between humans and mutants. In this universe, it went even further, and erupted into a war between the two races. And of course, Iron Man took advantage of the conflicts. While humanity believed Tony was on their side, he was secretly financing Magneto and his mutant army. All of this came at a price. Magneto promised Iron Man that when everything was over, he would rule what was left of humanity. But Tony's ambition was much greater. He wanted the war to be bloody, and to reduce the number of superpowered beings on both sides as much as possible. At the most opportune moment, Tony turned against his secret ally and killed Magneto, in front of the cameras, which was broadcast to the entire world, making him a global hero. The issue of popularity is quite recurrent in the comics, whether in alternate universes or not. In the 616 universe, Norman Osborn became the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and one of the most powerful people on the planet, because he delivered the final shot to the Skrull Queen, and it was filmed. I don't even need to explain the problematics of the Green Goblin being in command of the planet's largest organizational force, all because he was filmed attacking the character by surprise. But back to Iron Man. The character went far beyond to achieve his goals. After the war between the mutants and humans ended, Tony used his resources to cause a global famine that devastated the human population along with animals and crops. But he arrived with the solution to the hunger crisis, and was even more acclaimed by the population. Now the character had saved humanity twice. Thanks to this, he rose to the highest possible position in the United States, being elected president of the entire nation. You might think he's finally satisfied, but no. He created machines to control the climate, and devastated Asia and Europe. This forced the leaders of the two continents to relinquish their positions and hand them over to Iron Man, uniting the planet under his control. One of the few characters who did not become Iron Man's lackey and did not succumb to his control was the leader of Latveria, Victor Von Doom, also known as Dr. Doom. The two formed an agreement, and Victor was promised to attack Washington, the capital of the United States, to force the nation to abandon democracy. Victor did fulfill what he promised, but being as greedy and intelligent as Stark, he tried to take global power for himself. This led to a fierce battle between the two, where Iron Man emerged victorious once again, but with his face completely disfigured. But with the prize of Dr. Doom's cape, which he integrated into his suit as a trophy, the spoil of war, he became known as Emperor Stark. After ruling the world and crushing anyone who tried to steal his authority, there was only one group of characters that could resist the Emperor. These were the Inhumans, who, as you well know, are an extremely powerful race created by the Kree experiments on the Celestial Experiments. The leader of this race and its most powerful member is Black Bolt, whose voice is so strong that it destroys mountains with his whispers. Interestingly, the queen of the Inhumans in this universe is not Medusa but Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman. It's impressive how the universe has changed, and yet Reed is always gentle when it comes to Susan. If it's not Namor, it's Black Bolt, but anyway. Unlike the mutants, Emperor Stark did not wish to exterminate the Inhumans, but to take their leadership for himself and set his sights on the stars. The ambition of this Iron Man variant knows no bounds, and now the universe had to be under his feet as well. He had never been able to find the Attilan due to its camouflage systems, but because of repairs this system was undergoing, it came onto the villain's radar. When Iron Man eventually invaded the city with his army, Black Bolt preferred to destroy everything and everyone with his voice, including himself. He chose destruction and death over giving more power to Emperor Stark, preventing him from advancing into the universe with the power of the Inhumans. But the Emperor was far from the battle, and even with his army falling in combat, he was calm, since there was no one who could oppose him. The Avengers were never formed, the mutants had fallen, the Inhumans were annihilated, and the Fantastic Four never came together. There was only him. Well, him and the sole survivor of the attack on New Attilan, Susan Storm. She used her powers to infiltrate Emperor Stark's base and stab him, killing the villain once and for all, at the cost of her own life. After his death, everything about the character was revealed to the public, and he was discredited as a hero and unmasked. If I were to bet on any version of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, it would be this one, not necessarily in appearance or story, but in personality. The character is a villain who hides as a benefactor, not even needing to wear a mask since he acts as a hero while being a villain. He's cold, calculating, and extremely ambitious, much like Doctor Doom in the comics and also Iron Man himself. We haven't had the chance to see this in the movies, but Tony Stark from the comics is extremely arrogant and believes he knows what's best for the world. Occasionally evil versions of the character appear, because although he is good, his mind can easily be directed towards dictatorship. Tony is one of the most intelligent beings in Marvel, and often says that he holds back to avoid being too powerful, even surpassing Reed Richards in some comics. He's even had armor so powerful that he chose to destroy them, and devices capable of destroying worlds, which ended up in the hands of Kang, and were used as threats against the heroes. When Iron Man's moral compass was inverted, he cured Daredevil's blindness and said that he pretends to be human among people because he knows he's something beyond that. So when the character falls to the dark side for any reason, he becomes a threat to all existence. Not just to Earth or the solar system, but the entire universe. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified as soon as we upload our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.